Welcome to another episode of Growing Through It. I'm your host, Ryan Rosary, where you come to grow, heal, and get motivated one conversation at a time. Today we got my guy, my trainer, my special hombre, Jay Kabongo.
Round of applause for that boy, Jay. You know what I
Oh,
mean?
man, Jay, how are you doing today, brother?
I'm good, broski. How you feeling?
I'm feeling great, man. I'm feeling great. Did you get a workout in this morning?
Come on now, 6 a.m.
It's
Waking
true.
up at 6
I think I saw that on your story, man.
6 miles a day conditioning.
6 a.m., bro.
You know I deserve it all.
Yo, Jay, so tell us. For real. Jay, take us back, man. How did you get into fitness? Let's take us back to the earliest childhood. I remember you told me you used to be a kid on the chubby side. So, you know, what age were you when you started to notice that you were a little bit on the chubby side? And
Well, I knew when I came out the womb I was big. Like, I still have the card. They tell you when you're born. So I'm born on Saturday, which is funny because I say I'm a restful child because Sabbath is the seventh day. Saturday being the seventh day. We still have the card. I think I was all types of pounds. Like, I was bigger than a dumbbell. For real. Let my mama tell you. And we have the card. I'm like, damn, I'm big. Like, I'm big. We grew up elementary school, middle school. That's when I was slimming down because my activity level was rising. I was playing ball, then trying to, throw rocks at cars. You got to run, you got to break a sweat over there.
yo, you used to throw rocks at the cars too?
I can
Did
explain.
you throw the rocks at the moving cars?
Listen, whatever was there when you're throwing. But
Same childhood.
Hey, listen, different streets. But I remember even playing in the house league. Everybody was just a well-conditioned house league. So I was at least in grade 3, grade 4. So
Okay.
I'm already in between 8 and 10. A couple steps, my heart getting heavy. I'm like, damn, something wrong. I think I got eczema. You know what I'm saying? Then in middle school, grade 5, grade 6, still chubby. Whatever snack was there, Pop-Tarts, Twinkie, anything and everything, that's what I was on. But then I started noticing because my activity level was increasing around middle school, around high school, I still had chubby kid tendencies. Where
What does that
anything
mean?
in sight, that means, listen, seafood diet. You see food, I'm on it. So pizza, candy, Sour Patch Kids, M&Ms, whatever you think of, Pop-Tart, anything. Just a chubby kid, just smile, chubby cheeks, and then just eat snacks and get out the way. And then because I got older, of course, my activity level increased. My discipline also increased. So the frequency in which I was consuming those things evidently stopped, or at least they slowed down. But they're still there. I just don't be tripping like I used to as a kid. But as a kid, you had the excuse you're a kid. Eat gummies, get kicked out of school, get suspended, eat gummies at home, do whatever. Life was good.
Were you a bad kid growing up?
Down. I would say, generally speaking, a bad kid. Speaking with wisdom now given unto me by those who saw me grow up, a kid full of potential making bad decisions. So I was, at least until 13 years old, I was a product of my environment. So what I mean, I'll take that back, 12. Because I was in grade 7 at 12 years old, going to 13 years old. I started journaling a lot. I started writing down my feelings. I started seeing that I could be emotionally intelligent. That changed because I was finally able to process what I was going through, what I was feeling. But I was making bad decisions because I knew what these guys are doing, I knew I shouldn't be, but what else am I supposed to do? But as I was getting older, I realized I'd rather feel alone and weird, knowing that I'm not doing what they're doing. Why do I have a negative feeling, a negative sensation in regards to what they're doing, and still being okay being alone, than just wanting to jump in full-fledged. I was able to see that internally I was all the way off when I realized what I'm doing here for real is wrong, and I would still try and attempt to do it. But even attempting, it felt like there was a barrier. It felt like a force field that I was no longer able to want to if I could say trespass, because I know there were certain transgressions I said, ooh, I feel awkward doing it. I feel awkward thinking this way. I feel awkward speaking this way. So as I was continuing to get older, I got advice from youth leaders, youth workers, teachers, of course, my older brother, Patrick, among other family members who were incredibly sound and wise, were telling me that it's okay to be different. And really and truly, by being different, I was just being myself.
I love that, man. I love that you found your path and were like working towards being someone different, because I totally get wanting to fit in, wanting to feel like, yo, I want to be like everybody else. I want to make people like me. I want the girls to like me. I want the homies to like me, you know. But as you're getting older, you're like, certain things don't really resonate with me. I don't really want to be that type of
Yeah.
way. So you made those transitions. Now talk to me about how you got into doing fitness, because that's like pretty much who you are. That's a part of you. It's not like who you are, but
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
a massive part of who you are. So talk to me about fitness. Why fitness, and what are some of the things that you find with it that you find helps you along your journey? You mentioned discipline, and to be in the fitness field, you got to be
You
disciplined.
gotta be disciplined. I would believe, in all sincerity, it doesn't get any deeper than it's a form of expression. So you guys know me, especially you. You know me because you see me work together quite often. Sadly, but
Don't be a hater now.
I'm jaunty. Like I'm happy-go-lucky.
Yeah.
You know, there's a lot of joy. I'm not a happy person. I'm a joyful person, and because I'm a joyful person, you see it exuded in my demeanor, my character, the manner in which I speak to people, and being able to be aware of the fact that I can change the temperature of the room whenever I walk in, for better or for worse. But that's a side that I show. But when I'm lifting, that's not the aggression, but that's the passionate side of me, the obsessive, meticulous side of me, that everything I'm lifting is detailed to what I'm supposed to do for today, right? Another reason how and why I got into fitness, I just love transformation. I love the spiritual, the emotional, the mental transformation. But as a kid, I was able to see whether or not somebody was strong because of how their body looked. And since a kid, I always thought, man, when I'm looking at these athletes, these guys are deezed. I always thought that was cool. And that was a version, to my surprise, one of the versions of really respecting and loving yourself. If you're able to transform your body, you can transform your mind. You can transform another area of your life. So that was when I realized that, man, fitness is great, because I knew I had pent up energy, but there was not a way for me to always show it. So when I got into fitness, it was easy for me. I never left, and I remember exactly what it was, how I felt, what day it was, what year it was. When I seen grown men around me, I'm in my teens. And
Talk to me about that.
man, weightlifting has always been cool. It's always been great. Okay, just get strong, whatever the case is. But when I was in high school and I went to my bro P's school, I went to Bishop's University, I went to go see how that went. All we did was hoop, go to the weight room, have conversations about scripture, whatever the case was, eat snacks, go to sleep, repeat. It was his training camp, but we were there for real. And when I seen it, grown folk, the guys from the football team, the guys from the ball team, the guys from the lacrosse team, so forth and so on, is the discipline of just being obsessed with the progress and the process of, this is what I want, this is what I have to do. So I quickly realized it's not what do I want from fitness or what do I want from life. It's what am I willing to go through to get what I want in fitness and in life. That's the question we should really ask ourselves. So when I'm seeing these athletes working hard during summer school, and it was summer, right? It was summer. It was around July, August, and these guys were going to summer school classes, coming back to get some work in. Then they'll eat, they'll chill out, work on their mobility, whatever the case is, go back and get more work in. Unbelievable. I fit right in. I felt like I was at home, because that's what they're showing physically is how I feel internally.
Right.
But I can't be raging and all gone all over the place, just moving like Red Hulk.
Right.
So the thing was, when I seen them do that, instantly I knew this is what I want to do, and I want to be incredible at it. 16, 17, 18, every single summer. I took those summers like I was a professional athlete myself. Fortunately, I got a scholarship and went to school for ball, but even when I got there, I was 18. These guys were 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. And looking back at it, I thought my notion of time and age were great. It was actually askew, because I thought the guys that were 20, 21, 22, 23, 24 onwards were incredibly old. Until I turned 20, 21, 22, 23, I said, whoa, I didn't even enter my prime yet. So looking at those guys go their hardest, I felt right at home. When I mean right at home, all I wanted to do before the sun goes up, okay, I'm going to pray. Get into my Bible, I'm going to go lift. Go to class, I have spare time, I'm going to go lift. I'm going to chill out, I'll do mobility, I'll do all these different things, I might play ball. I can't wait for tomorrow, because I'm going to do the exact same things tomorrow. So that obsession grew, and the hunger steady growed, and by the time it grew, I just turned into a person who all I wanted to do was spend my time using that same intensity for lifting for other ventures of my life. But primarily speaking, on the subject of weightlifting and being a trainer, that's where the passion came from.
Mm.
Because I knew if I could transform myself, I'll have the necessary tools and I have the wherewithal to speak, to share, and also illustrate what you're looking for. I can help you.
Yeah, it's important to have.
Help you, y'all.
It's true. It's true. You know, and I remember when you approached me. Like I've been lifting from. I think I got into fitness heavily 2014. 2014 is when I really started to lock in. And I remember the gym that I was at. There were there were guys that I used to. There were guys older than me,
Yeah.
old like OGs that come from like that heavy weightlifting era, like the Ronnie Coleman era, right? And I used to see those guys because like as I'm still learning and trying to figure things out, I'm like looking at these guys. I'm like, oh, like how are you doing this workout? Or like you start to see guys in the gym a lot, and you're like, oh, like show me how to do this workout, or like, yo, it's good seeing you again. Like you don't even know their names. You're just like,
Right.
yo, what's up, what's up, what's up, and then eventually, you guys kind of start to form a relationship. That's how you and I started.
Absolutely.
I think I walked up to you and I think I said something about Dragon Ball Z to you or something,
sure though.
something like
Yep.
that. So it was something
Yep.
along those lines,
We were
right?
speaking, yeah.
Yeah, and then
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
literally how the conversation kept going from the gym, and then eventually, yo, what's your name? Jay, Ryan, boom, and then we just kept the conversation going.
But the women really call me often.
This guy's so stupid. But to the point, but to the point, it's like, as I started on my fitness journey, as I started on my fitness journey 10 years ago, 11 years ago, getting into it, now here I am, boom, you saw me, you're like, yo,
Very real.
especially with our conversations, you know what the goals that I want to achieve in my life, you see the things that I want to do, the type of roles that I want to do, and you're like, all right, well, yo, let me help you optimize that and also help you optimize your strength and optimize your workouts, which I think is such a beautiful thing. You did mention earlier you like to help other people accomplish their goals.
Yeah.
Do you within yourself, do you feel like you become fulfilled when you see people achieving their goals? Like, use myself for example. We've been
for
training
sure.
together for what, 3 months now?
Yeah.
So like, as my trainer, how are you finding yourself? How are you finding me, my growth personally, and how are you feeling within yourself, seeing my growth or lack thereof?
No, I still have your videos from how we first started, for what you were benching, squatting, deadlifting, whatever the case was, range of motion, everything till now. Everything changed. My thing is, there's nothing greater than having the other person feel what they're feeling in terms of, yo, I feel stronger. But it's another thing when the people who don't even know you're working look at you and say, yo, there's something about you that changed. It's like your frame. That's how you know it's really working. I can easily tell you, yeah, broski, you're looking good. The trainers around me will tell you, oh, yo, Ryan, you're looking great. But of course, we might naturally think, well, it's encouragement so that I can stay here. But in reality, if we said it, we meant it. Until you walk into another space and we have mutual friends, and the mutual friends who don't even know, or some who do but don't really see you do the work, they just know you and I are paired together, tell you, whether you're there or behind your back, yo, this guy, I don't know what you did, or I don't know what he's doing, I don't know what he touched, but yo, he's not the same of old. That's the real victory. That's the real victory, to the point where now we can up the intensity, up the workload, but your confidence is there. Whether or not the trainer is there, it doesn't matter. Ryan's going to get his work. Whether or not anybody's there, I'm going to go and get my work.
Yeah.
Whether or not I'm feeling good. And when I mean I'm not feeling good, as in I'm not in my skin. Not physical, not like illness where you got a fever, you want to go and bench. Take his sick ass home. What I'm saying, something in life isn't happening the way you would like for it to happen, and you're not in your skin. Your current situation is difficult, but you're able to encourage yourself by saying, my current situation is just my current situation.
Right.
And you can still take yourself to the gym. That right there is the true win, or those are the wins, because you now know how to compartmentalize. And you see it as well, even when we're lifting together. We're not solely speaking about, oh, just lift. In a sense, it's like therapy.
Yeah.
We're speaking about everything and nothing, making it work into the workout.
Yeah.
Making it intertwine smoothly, efficiently. Conversations are enforced. So when you're in that space and the person in question is working out incredibly hard, but in between the rest periods, the person is also able to see their progress, think about how they felt beforehand, during, with the excitement of what they can be afterwards.
Mm-hmm.
That's a win too, because you're doing introspective work while doing the work at hand currently.
Mm-hmm.
So those are the wins. It's not really just because the person's with me, we get paid, spaghetti, woo. It's really about the fact that this person leaves knowing, dang, this is the first step to be great.
I love
And
that.
they continue.
Yeah, and that's a big thing for you is greatness. I see that all the time. The way you speak, the way you move through your life, greatness is such a big part of who you are. Now you, now you used to be a teacher.
Yes.
Yeah, you used to be a teacher. So it seems like you have a passion for wanting to give back, wanting to help.
Mhm.
Talk to me about your teacher experience.
My love for teaching came in an interesting and I would say unprecedented path because I went to school for international law, political studies. I thought for sure after watching Suits on Netflix in year one, I'm about to be that. Just to come and find out, I skip, I finish, I'm doing summer camp counseling every summer. Do summer school, come back, summer camp counselor, go back for school. Long story short, I finished my second last year of being a camp director. I tell my mom and dad, I said, I could continue, but I actually don't want to look for a job until I pray and I know the Most High is going to guide my steps.
Amen.
So they thought I was tripping, and rightfully so. Saying they wanted their baby to get a job, just finish school. But the conviction I had superseded any conversation that they can tell me. There was nothing you can tell me at that point. If I said it, I meant it. And because I mean it, I'm going to say it. High school coach, he becomes a principal at a high school, not too far from the crib. And he goes, yo, you thought about teaching? I said, what am I going to teach these guys? I'm 19 and these guys are 15, 16. I'm big, bro. I'm not no teacher. Yeah, you should look into it. I said, nah, I'm okay. We go runs again. He's there. I'm okay. We go to runs again. I'm okay. Until the conviction was real, and it got me April 2019. I never looked back. I was a TA, so a teacher assistant at that school. Then I went to my old high school because they heard that I did a good job, so they took me. I went back to the other school where I started, the one downtown, and they said, yo, stay here because the principal who was my coach was still there too. And then the word got out. It's crazy. I went back to my old elementary school to become junior, senior kindergarten because the principal, she told me, yo, we heard good things about this and that.
Wow.
So I didn't do teacher's college. It was like Mike Ross for real, the way I walked in. And I never looked back. I stayed in education. I stayed in teaching. I had gym class grades 1 to 6, junior, senior kindergarten, teacher assistant, going back to teaching a full class. Quiet as kept. The principal, she just said, yo, we need you back. So imagine I'm going to be training and I'm going to go back to teaching junior, senior kindergarten. So that's how I got into it, just off word of mouth of how I was executing. And I appreciate you even saying greatness because that's the subsequent standard. Just because I've seen the teachers who taught me, I still wish them happy birthday. When I graduated from university, I sent them the image of what I look like with the Wolverine beard and all that. And everybody had the precise email, like a particular email, not like a generic GPT. It was inside jokes. Thank you for what you did. Thank you for what you deprived me from doing. All of the influential teachers, men and women alike, till this day, they still remember me and they also speak about me in their classrooms. So when I go and visit, it's not like a folklore, yo, we thought you never existed, we'd never seen you, to the point where even my high school still kept my big image of why they should enroll into the school board. And that was over a decade ago. And then fast forward, because I still keep in contact with those teachers, it wasn't just the teachers in school, but it was really the youth workers in the community or during summer camp. Because I seen them take their time with me, it was incredible that they were able to see the difference between who I am and juxtaposing it with what I do. So I'm acting a fool right now, but that's not who he is. Let me have this kid one-on-one. And then when they have me one-on-one, there was no escape. They saw the real me for who I was, and I think that's why they had a stranglehold, because they were able to get me when nobody was going to be able to infiltrate with ideas, but at the same time also let me be a kid. So they were within arm's reach, but they weren't always hands on in terms of control what Jay's gonna do.
Mm-hmm.
So because I remember that and I'm thankful for their experience, when I became an elementary school teacher, that was the same thought process, methods, and mindset that I had. The difference is I have youth to my experience. So because I dress like these kids with Crocs and J's and all that, they relate to me a lot more than they would from my other counterparts. So that's what helped me a lot in this field, and that's how I really got in. So definitely was divine, but it's unprecedented to say the least.
That's such a beautiful answer, man. Thank you so much for sharing that about like that journey.
Yeah, next time you have to pay.
I got you on the next one. I got you on the next one. Now you kept mentioning about not being in your skin. What is that? What do you mean by that?
Not being in your skin is when you know you have a routine that you follow, and I'm not saying being superstitious or stitious at all, but you know in your conduct there's something internally in your heart or in your soul. There's something I didn't address, and instead of put it this way, we're OCD,
Mm.
so we don't sweep anything under the rug. We clean it out and we dish it out, and we start anew. So what I mean by not being in your skin, that means something happened this week. I don't know. Moms didn't really speak to you correctly. Pops ain't really available for the conversation you guys said you were supposed to have. I'm going through something with my girl right now. I misspoke. She misspoke, and now I'm closed off, and I realize that the time that I'm spending being closed off is the time we could have been reconciling and being okay. Things like that. But I'm not in my skin. Why aren't you in your skin? You're usually joyful. You're usually calm. You're where your feet are. Even when you sleep, you're not really resting. You're just sleeping, but you're restless because you're constantly thinking about something that you should have handled before that you didn't then. But because you distracted yourself with so many different things, it's now that you're twisting and turning at night where you actually should have been processing what happened before. Not being in your skin is putting the important things, the necessary introspective work away from you, so you're pushing it away just to be in the moment where distractions are happening.
Mm-hmm.
And you find out there's something going on with me. But because you're trying to figure out what's going on with you here, working out, for instance, reading or praying or going for walks or doing the things that keep you sane, for instance, you're also putting that in the back burner. And then now you're sitting in the stench of this culpability, this pseudo paralysis where it's something's happening right now. I don't know. There's something going on. So not being in your skin is being aware that there's a problem, but also, in spite of being aware that there's a problem, you're not addressing the situation. You're postponing it by saying, just one of those days. It's not one of those days. It's not one of those days. You're going through something. It's either intimidating you, it's daunting, it's nerve-wracking, it's frustrating, it's irritating. You're feeling all these things that every person should feel in terms of the emotional spectrum of life and what it provides. But not being in my skin for me would be because I didn't take a mindful minute to be where my feet are and to see how I'm feeling, to process where my heart is, to see if my spirit is still, because I'm waiting for that job to call me back. I'm not in my skin because I didn't take that time to really see how I feel. I didn't take time to really cerebrate and say, if it doesn't happen, it's okay. What's for me can't miss me.
Right.
Now I'm thinking my fate is in somebody else's hand, somebody else's phone call. Now I'm not in my skin because I'm trying to gain control while in reality I never did. I'm fighting for something that never belonged to me. What I can control is being still. What I can control is being where my feet are. What I can control is understanding that if it's for me, it's going to get me because I attract what I am. So I subsequently attract what I expect. But if it doesn't come now, doesn't mean it won't come forever. Those are the kind of situations that will make me say I'm not in my skin.
This is good.
And for somebody else, they know that they're not in their skin for their own reasons. So when they know that something's off, it's not just one of those days. Let's not do that. We're deeper souls than that, than just chalking it up to, I don't know, today just I'm off. No, nobody's really off. Or maybe we underslept or we underate, we're malnourished, whatever the case is, great. But there's always an answer to what we're going through.
Yeah.
So that's what I meant by being aware that I'm not in my skin or somebody's not in their skin.
Yeah, no, I like that. That's such a detailed explanation of what that is. Like I find I find for myself personally, like there are days where I'll be like worrying about stuff and stressing about something, or like just like you said, like, oh man, like I want this thing, or things are not happening the way I want them to be happening.
Mm-hmm.
And I find when I take a nap, if it's a 10, 15, 20 minute nap, I find that my
Yo,
body.
y'all don't play with me because you know how I feel about now. My bad, as you was.
You know what I'm
My
saying?
bad, twin.
No, but for real though,
Uh-huh.
like I find when I take a nap, I wake up and I'm like, oh, everything's great. Everything, I'm where I'm supposed to be. It's like my central nervous system does a full reset. Boom.
Yeah.
You know, it's like PlayStations, right?
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
and it starts to overheat like the old school back in the day,
Ooh.
N64, and you have to just turn that off, get a little reset, and just cool it off.
Just come back
You
and
know
play.
what I'm saying?
Come back and play.
You know what I mean?
I
Just
want-
come back. Just a
Nah,
little reset.
I'm saying-
Just a little reset.
I mean,
So tell me of a time most recently that you found yourself, that you felt like you weren't in your skin, and how did you, as you said, you planted both your feet. How did you find that you grounded yourself in bringing yourself back in your skin?
when I came back into my skin, a situation that took me out of my skin and made me realize that I was not in my skin. Dang. Sweat equity. The harder you work for something, the harder it is to surrender, the harder it is to accept defeat.
Hmm.
It was hard for me to see people who didn't care in life live life as though they had everything in order, whatever opportunity that was knocking at their door they had, which made me look at the Most High and said, what's something going on here? We're really putting in work in terms of our future, the vision that we have. Why would you gift me this idea, this vision, this ambition, this drive? I'm so sorry because English is such a poor language. It's not even ambition or drive or motivation or fire. It's more than that. I can't explain. Like, it haunts me even at night about wanting to be great.
Mm-hmm.
And I said to myself, if I have this idea, if I have these goals, if I have this vision, why is there so much resistance with what I'm doing? There are people who don't care, who are just flat out lawless, who flat out do not care about nothing. And they get things. And I'm saying, wait a minute, hold on. Wait a minute. You feel me?
Yeah, dude.
And I said to myself, I said, I'm tripping.
Yeah,
It's my fault.
yeah.
I'm the one who's tripping. Until I said, no, I'm not tripping. But that was when I realized I wasn't in my skin. I found myself like Job. If anybody knows the story of Job, if you know the story of Job, stay with me now. It's the exact same thing where he stayed on the straight and narrow path. And he had so much resistance for doing what was correct.
Mm-hmm.
We also end up knowing how it ends with him. And that's essentially, in a sense, how it's panning out for me now. So I'm thankful. But at the time, that's when I was out of my skin because I was so full of rage. And the last time I was motivated by rage and whatever the case was, I was 17.
Mm.
That was the last time. And that was the time I vividly remember being full of rage.
Mm-hmm.
I was 17 and I was so motivated. And it was like that. But because emotionally I'm aware, I be journaling, I'm praying, I'm cool, I have brothers that I can call, relatives, like those who are related, and guys like you, of course. What wind up happening is it was that easier for me to have sound counsel and advice. But you have to also edify yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And again, the question came, it's not what do you want, what are you willing to go through? So you have to overcome and overbear. And when I realized that I've overbore my whole life, all I have to do is continue to stay the course. A side of me said, yo, you would think all these great acts and the straight and narrow path being observed and followed would get you something.
Mm-hmm.
Let me tell you, it didn't. But just because it didn't yet, it doesn't mean that it won't at all. Because you would still see flashes and glimmer of the promises to come.
Right.
So that's when I knew I was out of my skin. This was in the summer. And again, because I switched professions, right, from stopping education to go do personal training. And I was feeling it the most then. When I was studying for it, the certification, it was challenging. But then I passed. That was an experience that got me out of my skin. And I knew and I realized it because I obsessed over that mission until I got it. And then it got better for me ever since.
Mm-hmm.
The reason why now it's a lot easier to stay in my skin is because as many highs that have been coming my way, of course, by the Father's grace, I purposely conditioned to remember what I felt when I was down there. So yeah, things go here, but when it wasn't here, when it was over here, remember what you felt. So that is what keeps me grounded.
Mm-hmm.
There are no compliments in the world that I can be given or that can be said about me that could ever make me forget what it was like to be here. But there are no greater L's than I received on a personal life. Sorry, in life on a personal level in life that can make me realize that or make me think that those social L's or work L's, financial L's are the worst thing can happen.
Yeah.
So in a sense, it was like a callus, really and truly. Don't get too high, don't get too low. Success, don't let it get to your head. Failure, don't let it get to your heart. That's when you know that a sound man is being built, but a sound man is also a trustworthy man. Because you see him with success, you see him with defeat, and he's the same person. So I was out of my skin, and when I came back into my skin was because I knew that it wasn't easy ever. And once I realized it wasn't going to be Disney for me, you know,
Acceptance.
that's it.
Yeah. Yeah. It's so funny you say that, 'cause like you see certain people doing things out there, and sometimes I'm like, yo, maybe I should just, let me just do one time. And I know God will make an example out of me,
100%.
and I'm going to be the one behind bars like, oh, no, wait.
And it's even written because it even says, yo, if you see them win that way, don't worry. When you see them win that way, don't even worry, just because we know how it ends.
Right.
That's also what enabled me to stay in my lane without having to look left, without having to look right. It's okay. But we're not trying to win for the optics, because quiet is kept between you and I. We'd rather win and never be seen.
Facts.
As long as we win.
As long as we winning.
But we're not trying to be winners to be seen. Because if we're just trying to have public victories, museum victories just to be seen, but we didn't really make an impact, those aren't really wins.
Yeah. Yeah, that's real, brother. That's real.
I'm spitting.
No, you're dropping some good stuff, man. I appreciate it. Thank you so much. I've noticed you talk a lot about faith. You talk a lot about God. And I mean, you and I have had personal one-on-ones, conversations about faith and stuff. But talk to me about your faith journey. Were you always such a devout man of faith? Were you always so grounded in your faith and your belief in God? Talk to me about that and how it's helped shape the man that you are today.
That's the most important part of my life. Like, that's essentially who I am and why I am what I am. At first, growing up, it was my mom. My mom and dad would always tell me, yo, pray and keep the faith and believe in the Most High. The Heavenly Father is great, among other things. But we're from a generation where it's do what I say, not do what you see. Right? It's do what I say, not do as I do. So it was a little challenging. But at the same time as I was growing up, of course, I actually stopped going to church. And if I went, it's because my mom would bribe me. Oh, Mickey D's on me. Pizza Hut on me. I'll give you $10 to get Mortal Kombat, Blockbuster right quick on me. I'm like, ooh, I can do an overnight prayer for $10. You know what I'm saying? Get Mortal Kombat, Blockbuster. Yeah, what you mean? You feel me, right? They feel me. And then it ended up my mom telling me, yo, let's go. And I was saying, Ma, nah, don't force me. I don't want to go. And then boom, I turned 16 years old and I said, man, there's something in me that's pushing me to want to know the Heavenly Father a little more. And by 17, the summer after, so summer 2013, I was coming back. I said, let me just go to Bible study. My brother's on a bus from Montreal back here. It's going to take him about 6 hours. By the time I go to church and come back, it's great. My bro was home. We're going to have pizza. We're going to chill, play PS3. I'm on the bus going, I think I'm on the 41 Keel. My mom, my cousin, my aunt, after Bible study. And I said, 2013, I want to get closer to God, closer than I've ever been in my entire life. And when I said it, I don't know where that conviction came from. Then I got baptized in March. That was my senior year. And all the way through uni, it went from my mom saying, yo, let's go, to now me telling mom, yo, mom, let's go. So when everything was happening, come hell or high water, hell came, high water came through. But because I was grounded in the faith as I was getting older, it was easier for me to be still. Because a lot of the crazy circumstances in which I grew up really and truly conditioned me to be equipped and prepared for when those hardships would strike. Then I saw that when calamity struck and everybody was startled, it appeared to me that I was also level-headed, and it has to do because of faith. But if I had all that faith when I was younger, that would have got me jacked up, because if I quit when I was young as I got older, I wouldn't have been sound. But the fact that I was growing up, acting a fool, then I realized, there's a conviction that I can't shake off. Perfect timing. Because I was getting older and my violence for my discipline, spiritually speaking, just increased over time and with time. So time didn't just pass by. As time was going forward, so was my dedication, my discipline, my violence, my zeal for doing righteous works.
Look at this, man of God locked in, bro.
Hey, man.
We love that, man.
Hey, man.
Yeah, I mean, like even for myself, I grew up same way. I was, raised in a Christian household
Mhm.
and like going to church, forced to go to church 3 days a week, the
Yeah.
Sundays, Sundays, the Wednesdays, the Fridays.
Mhm.
Bro, it was like, then I got to that point.
Homie felt like a job.
Yo, for real. Yo, I remember I used to be like, man, nah, I can't go. I got homework to do. Meanwhile, I had one little piece of something that I had to take out. I got homework to do. I got homework to do. Bro, it's just like I just had no desire. I just didn't care. And then as I got older, I started to seek more things. And then last year was like a really rough year for me. I went through a lot in my personal life, and I was like, shoot, I guess maybe I'll start going back to church, you know. And that's kind of how like I got deeper into my faith and started seeking it more. And no hate to anybody that doesn't believe, that doesn't have faith. But I find that for myself personally, ever since I got into my faith, I feel like I'm more at peace. I feel like I found my purpose in this world. I find like I feel like I know like where I'm going, and I feel like God actually strengthens me daily and helps me to overcome the daily struggles of life. Because life ain't easy.
Come on now.
Life is tough, man. Life has its
Well-
challenges. It has its challenges. It has its challenges.
Yeah, what if I said that life isn't really tough?
Go ahead, break that down.
No, think about it.
Okay.
Like when you say, "Oh, life is hard," is life really hard?
I mean, yeah. There's hard elements. There's hard elements.
There are hard moments that happen.
Yeah.
When we fix our language, broski,
Mhm.
perspective drives performance. We start
Talk to me.
think.
I like that you said that. Talk
People
to
say,
me.
"Oh, I have good days and bad days."
Right.
There are no bad days. There are just days. Okay, good days exist. Tough moments in a day exist.
Mhm.
Days that are tougher than most. But a bad day, 24 hours, bad day, you slept. Maybe you twist and turn, but you slept in a bed. That's not bad. It was difficult. It was tough because you didn't sleep accordingly. But you slept in a bed. You went to work. Okay, maybe these guys are whack, and you don't even like these guys. You have a job. They're paying you whether or not you don't like them on Tuesday, direct deposits on Thursday. All of a sudden, they're all your besties. It doesn't matter. Name me something else. Something so crazy as a family member passing away. That's a bad experience. That's a bad memory in a day. So when that day strikes, you're not dreading the day. You're dreading having to remember what you felt that particular time. So that same time next year, the year from now, 2, 3, 4, 5 onward, you can't help but think about what you felt that time. Why do people say, I love this song? You don't really love the song. It's a moment in time. You connected it to a memory, to an emotion, to a sensation, to an experience, so that when you hear it, it takes you back. That's why you knew the lyrics. It's not because the lyrics were crazy. It's not because anything, things that were said in the song was striking you to the point where, oh my God, this is the next Shakespeare. You attached it to an experience, to a moment. People do that with music. People do that with video games. People do that with food. People do that with people. People do that with places. So when I'm saying that perspective drives performance, it's not really I'm having a bad day. It's that right now in this day, this moment is tough. Until we nap, all of a sudden we got the brightest ideas. But that's just a moment in time that we realize that when our perspective kicks in and it shifts, it's going to also broaden your way of thinking. And when it expands your way of even reasoning, that's how rich you get. And that's how rich you become. And that's how rich you remain. Because perspective is going to drive your performance. If I have this perspective, what's going to happen now? You know what? It's going to be hard to sit down and lament and be sad. Because I have so much perspective. I can be thankful for X, Y, and Z. Operate. That's what I meant by I don't know if life is hard. And I don't believe in bad days. I do believe in good days, right? But bad days for me, nah.
I love the perspective. That's actually, thank you for that. Like, it's true. I actually do agree with you. No, I do agree with you. There are no bad days. There are bad moments. Like, I think back to when my mom passed away,
For
right?
sure, for sure.
That was a bad moment in that day.
Mm-hmm.
But the people that came, that were there to support me, the calls that I got, were good moments. Were
100%.
part of the day. Were good throughout the day, even though that day sucked.
Mm-hmm.
And every time September 2nd always comes around, yeah, I think about it, but I'm not sitting there every day crying or lamenting the same way I was
For sure.
when she passed.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I hold the memories. I feel certain things, and you know, I smile, I laugh. Like you said, there's certain things. Like there's a certain restaurant that my mom and I would always go to together, and I love that restaurant because of her. So I have that joy every time I go to the restaurant. You know, I smile, I think of it. So I do agree with you on that.
I even want to add before we move on.
Go ahead.
When my mom got a stroke too,
Hmm.
same thing that day in September. It might sound crazy, but I wasn't blown away to the point. Oh my God, this is the worst day of my life. I've gone through worse emotionally. So when I seen it physically, I was so equipped because of the work that her and my dad, especially my older brother P, that they've put, not just put me through in practice, but in theory, but also with advice. And now I'm talking about my brother specifically.
Mm-hmm.
So when these things happened and he wasn't at home, I was a strong pillar at that time, at least. And that was the opportunity for me to see this is where dreams are made of. Let me see what I'm made of. All this thing about, oh my God, you change and you're a good kid now, and you're a trustworthy kid, you're a trustworthy son, all these different things, that was the time I was able to put it to practice.
Mm.
And then let's see. That's it.
Mm-hmm.
And then the second thing, me too, we go to, what's that place? South Street Burger or something like that near Eaton Center. I don't like South Street Burger. I mean, wait now. Let's just sponsor us. What I'm saying is, I came back for reading week from school, and we passed by. My mom wanted to go shop at, I think it's Additionel. Mom was big before. Mom was big now. So we went there, and then we seen it. I said, oh, Mama, let's try it. So I came for school during reading week.
Mm-hmm.
So I said, okay, cool. So every reading week in March, we would go. So I understand, absolutely. So,
Yeah.
you know, I could vibe with son. Know what I mean?
You know what I'm saying?
I understand. I understand.
So tell me then, what's a good day for you?
A good day
Yeah.
is executing. Breath in my lungs. I wake up. I oil pull. Feet to the ground. Hands on the ground. Breathe. Breathing technique. Rotate my neck clockwise, counterclockwise. Execute. Get out the door. After praying, go lift. Everything that I said that I was going to do, especially creating those pockets of time to go and pray, to just read my scriptures, or to just sit, have a mindful minute, that's a great day because I'm in tune. I'm not going with the waves, the winds, and the currents of Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. I'm in full control of what I can control. When I execute on Monday, how I do one thing is how I do everything. The rush of knowing you executed, and I don't care who sees it. I don't care who heard about it. That's all I need. To know that I seen in real time, Jay, I executed. Sunday, Monday, that means Tuesday I'm going to execute. And now you grow this violent demeanor of I don't want nothing and nobody to get in the way of what I'm trying to execute. Get out of the way. How you charge up and how you connect during the day and how you disconnect at night tells you exactly how you're going to reconnect in the morning.
Mm-hmm.
If you're full of energy, pent-up energy that you didn't get out of your system and you're still raging about what happened at 5 p.m. and now it's 11 p.m., you're going to wake up with all that stress and that mess tomorrow morning.
Mm-hmm. Agreed.
When you rid yourself of everything and you go to bed, sound sleep, and I'm talking you're not just sleeping, you are resting, you're going to wake up incredibly restful, and it's intrinsic in you to now want to turn on that switch. That's a good day. Because everything that I said that I wanted to feel in terms of perfect peace that surpasses all understanding, I got it. Everything that I said that I wanted to experience in terms of having to increase my discipline in whatever aspect, I got it. I'm only as trustworthy as my word. I'm only as strong as my word. If I said I wanted to read 20 pages of whatever book, I did that before I went to go work out. When I'm lifting, I'm lifting. When I'm at work, I'm at work. When I'm not there, I'm disconnecting, and rightfully so. That's a great day.
Mm-hmm.
I saw some beautiful faces. I saw my people. I heard my people. We're in a group chat. We're laughing, whatever the case is. That's a great day. And when I'm saying it's a great day, a good day is because not only was I in control of what I was supposed to control, but I sense that control is not something that I'm supposed to grab with a stranglehold and a death grip. It's something that flows around me. It hovers around me. It flows through me. You become control
Mm-hmm.
because you're secure in your skin.
Hmm.
That's having a good day. I'm not thinking about what's going to happen next Wednesday. I didn't even deal with Sunday yet.
Mm-hmm.
I'm having a good day because I'm where my feet are
Mm-hmm.
and I'm executing everything. So, though I'm focused on Friday, I'm mainly concentrated on Monday. But the work that I'm doing Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday is going to give me green for Friday.
I love that.
That's a good day.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, I gave y'all a good week.
That's great. No, that's beautiful, man. I love the fact that you allow yourself to sit and talk about being in the present. I feel like with today's society, too many people, and I'm guilty of this as well, where I'm always thinking of, okay, I gotta get this done for the next 6 months, and
Right.
I gotta, that sounds like, wait,
Yeah, that's because you're a bad person.
sit down, shut up, far from, far from.
Of course.
And then I sit back and I'm like, what am I worrying about tomorrow for, or the day? I'm still in Monday.
Mm-hmm.
Let me get through Monday. Let me figure out everything for Monday. And I find that's kind of an issue with today's society, especially in this fast-paced social media, Instagram, TikTok era. Everything is like quick, 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 and we're not allowing ourselves to breathe and to be in the moment, which I think also, I think scientifically as well, it adds to people's anxiety because they're constantly being bombarded of like, what's the next thing? What's this? What's that? Versus just allowing ourselves to be in the present moment. And that's one thing that I've noticed with you. Like, I don't ever see you really stressing about things or having your anxiety levels high. Or, oh man, like every time I've seen you, oh man, I've never had I'm having a bad day. I've never. It's always, yeah, I'm good, I'm green, And like I wanna touch on that. Like, do you have bad days? And if you do, how do you deal with them? Because truly, I genuinely am interested on how you handle that personally.
I'm trying to remember the last bad day I had.
That's crazy.
For real, though. For real, for real. For real, I'm trying to remember the last bad day I had. But I really
Bad
believe
moment.
a
Bad moment in a day.
bad moment in a day was when I did my certification for personal trainer. I did the exam and I failed
Mm-hmm.
the first attempt. That was a bad moment. Then I got free food. So was it really a bad day?
You big back.
Yeah, I mean, hey, call me what you want, but you can call me fed.
Yo, that's facts, bro.
You know what I'm saying? So I remember, I was fed. Listen, bro, I remember I failed. Man, I went back to my now coworkers, the team,
Yeah,
my
yeah,
chain
yeah.
team. And they're just, oh man, Jay, it's okay, you'll get them next time. I'm like, shut up. Whatever. Y'all didn't fail, I did. And we do the workout. The amount of pats on the back, yo, Jay, don't worry, bro. Next time, you got it. I'm walking around with my homegirl at the time. We passed by Hibachi, the restaurant near Bathurst, whatever. Man, so I said, oh, yeah, come get a free bowl of chicken fried rice. I said, ooh. I said, don't mind if I do. Was it really a bad day?
Mm-hmm.
The next day, I still felt it because every time I walked into that space, that gym, my sole mission, like I need a position in this gym. I belong here. But every time I walked in, I felt not like a fraud, but I felt like I let Nas down. I'm like, damn. Until Coach Eddie looks at me before he leaves the class and he goes, he sees me sit on the carpet, on the turf, and I'm just doing my mobility, but I ain't the same. Like, my energy ain't right. He goes, all right, bro, we get it, bro. You failed, bro. Get that stupid look off your face. And so I laughed, and I said, yo, you know what? Cool. Heavy heart because you failed, but you failed the test. You didn't fail life.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you didn't fail the summer. You didn't fail the year.
Right.
16 days later, I write the exam, and I pass with flying colors. So that was a bad moment in time. June 14, something like that.
Mm-hmm.
I failed on a Monday. Can you imagine? Like, ooh, how you gonna fail on a Monday?
It's the beginning of the week.
Bro. Beginning of the work week, and you fail. That's how you coming out, big
Right.
dog. But that's what happened. And then I remembered how confident I felt writing the exam the second time, but the confidence was scary, and I usually allude to Gohan. When Teen Gohan knew he was gonna crush Cell,
Mm-hmm.
there was nothing you can tell him. They told the man, "Yo, finish your job. Let's go home." He goes, "Oh no, I think I'll wait."
Mm-hmm.
What do you mean you're gonna wait? But then I also related to Trunks, because future Trunks comes back and he goes, "Yo, I've seen too much pain, too much agony, suffering in my life. If I see the enemy, I'm gonna detect the enemy, detect the threat, eliminate threat. I'm going home."
That's it.
So long story short, that's how I felt. All the confidence of I'm overly prepared. I'm about to crush this exam. I remembered the pain and the heavy heart that I had when they said, "Yo, young man, you failed." So I was even keeled even with them, but it was a bad moment in the day, right? It was a bad moment in the week, but my heart was getting lighter and lighter and lighter as the weeks were going on by. Because if it wasn't light, I still wouldn't have had the capacity to even go back and study. I would have been defeated. But it goes back, coherence, coherence, coherence. If you said it, you meant it. It's not what you want. It's what are you willing to go through to get what you want. No money. No money's coming in because I switched professions. No money's coming in. In fact, more money's leaving than it is coming
Mm-hmm.
in. How are you going to behave when you have everything? How are you going to behave when you're losing everything? How are you going to behave when you don't have enough? How are you going to behave when you have more than what you've already had than what you ever had? It's like the super soldier serum. You take it, if you're inherently evil, it's going to subsequently become even more evil.
Mm-hmm.
You seek righteousness, that serum is going to make you want to become even more righteous. That's all it did. Success and failure is like the super soldier serum. How much of it you consume is going to dictate and show without even saying who you really are at your core. So when those things happen, I know those are just good days and tough moments in the day, tough moments in the week. But how I even behave during those experiences, I call my older brother P because he's the one who raised me and he's my best friend in the whole wide world. You would think we're close in age. He's 6 years older than I am. And he's a family man too. I have the guys in the room right here. Come hella high water. You guys see when we're lifting, I'll talk about everything and nothing to show you guys where my heart is at. I'll have, of course, when I pray, like, "Father, this is what I'm going through. This is what I'm experiencing." And then my homies, and I have a small circle. It's a dot for real because I'm able to tell you what I'm feeling, what I'm going through without being vulnerable, but emotionally open and transparent. Vulnerable means that I'm open to a threat. I'm not open to any threat. You guys are my people. You guys love me. And I know that. So I'm open and I'm transparent, but I'm not vulnerable around anybody. I'm just open. But I operate through the freedom of my heart, not the fears of, "Oh, dang, if I start venting, these guys might think, 'Yo, Jay, I thought you were strong.'" Nah. In my strength, I'm also able to tell you I'm weak here right now because this happened. But strength is not always what you can do. It's what you also can deprive yourself from doing. Deprive yourself from letting an ego get you when your testimony is that you actually don't have one. Deprive yourself from being anxious when in reality there's nothing to be anxious over. I communicate, I express, but before I talk to people, I definitely got a journal. I have journals I compartmentalize my journals. Then I'll pray, then I'll speak out loud. I'll inhale, exhale, I'll walk, and then I'm talking to my guys. Because by the time I let it all out to you guys, I already did the introspective work. You guys are just going to hit me with perspective for real. By the time perspective comes through, I realize, you know what? If these guys didn't care, they wouldn't have told me anything. If they didn't see the light, the vision, the potential, the distinction that's on me, they wouldn't have cared. But I know, in spite of those hardships, I'm so enclothed in distinction. That just comes with the territory. Natural course of progression. It's par for the course. But it's how you come out of it. That's how you get to show your greatness.
Jay, man, thank you so much for your perspective, for your insight, for your words of wisdom.
Whatever, I guess.
I feel like whoever hears this is going to understand that, like, I love what you said, that, you didn't fail life. That's such a beautiful analogy.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people think when something bad happens to them, they're failing life. That's it. Life is over. You failed a moment. It's okay. Life's going to continue. So I just want to say thank you so much for coming on and just dropping your wisdom and your insight, man.
Beautiful people. Y'all, first off, y'all should do that little poll if you should see me more, because y'all will.
Jay, I like to end every episode with what I call my big three questions. These are questions that I think about on a daily basis.
Come on now.
Well, maybe not every day, but I think about these questions a lot.
You think?
I do. I'm a thoughtful person.
What?
All right. Question number 1. If you could have any superpower, what would it be and why?
If I had a superpower, man, I'm trying to mind control fools for real, for real. I'm trying to mind control because my greatest strength as we speak is my mind. My spirit first, my mind second, but my mind for sure, absolutely, positively. Like Charles for real. I just don't want to have that big X. I don't want to have that big X. I have a big forehead. That's why I got a thing on me. Mine. What's that? Telekinesis? No, telekinesis. You move stuff.
That's
Telepath.
yeah.
Telepathy. Woo! So give me telepathy, y'all.
Yeah.
Okay.
Them my number one.
Telepathy.
Number one.
All right. Question number 2. What is one piece of advice that you would give your younger self?
It sucks to be where you're at now, but it would suck to not strive to be great.
That's what I would tell myself.
That's a great answer.
Yeah, being in that neighborhood, being in that house, being in that family, being in the circumstances, it sucks right now. But daring to not be greater than your environment, yeah, you're going to live with that. And his conscience is very sensitive. I know that young man. So if he knows that he was supposed to do something, he doesn't do it, ask him, cook him.
Beautiful, man.
Yeah.
All right, final question.
Yeah, here we go.
What is one goal that you would like to accomplish within the next 6 months?
Within the next 6 months, I'm rich, yeah. I'm joking. A goal that I want to accomplish in the next 6 months. Oh, I finally got to definitely get that G2. But all jokes aside, in the next 6 months, I got to be on that screen, man. I got to be on that Ryan screen, bro.
This guy's so annoying.
I got to be on that Ryan screen, bro. That's for sure. I got to be on a big screen with Ryan. That one right there.
Maybe we can make something happen.
I'm begging you. That's why you think I'm here. I'm brown nosing.
Hey, closed mouths don't get fed, right?
Come on now. Not on my boulevard.
Jay, man, thank you so much for coming, man. Please
sure, man.
plug yourself. If there's anything you got going on where people can find you, please go ahead and plug yourself.
Beautiful people. I was actually waiting for this segment. I'm sweating. You can find me, obviously, in these streets. But, no, I'm playing. Find me on Instagram, Jabo Fitness, Jaebo, and then fitness. If you guys can spell fitness without Google, yeah, see your boy. Otherwise,
Don't really until y'all see me in these things, man. For real. But when y'all see me, say what's up, though. Like, throw your ones, like, on a slant. Throw your ones on a slant. I'm touchy.
Thank you guys for tuning in to another wonderful episode of Growing Through It. I'm your host, Ryan Rosary. And just remember, guys, the only way to grow through it is to go through it.